don't know, I would say in general that I'm pretty self-aware.
I don't think you're aware that you are pushing it. This is what you should do, and this is why.
I know more because I've been working in the industry for so long.
It sounds like sometimes you would like less advice.
Right.
She's like not hopeful or like not excited for me and like not supporting me, and so that's hurtful to me. I'm Jennifer Saxton, I'm 35, and I'm the founder and CEO of a baby gear services company called Tot Squad.
And I'm Catherine Young, and also 35. I am a strategy consultant.
So Catherine and I met in 2001 when we were seniors in high school. We've been friends for 17 years. And
half our life.
Yeah.
We are like cosmically aligned because our birthdays are a day apart. We're both from Texas. We both went to undergrad at Duke together. We both ended up in LA.
Oh yeah, we got married 6 months apart.
We're both 2 months pregnant.
And now we have the same due date.
About 6 months ago, my husband and I decided to move back to Dallas. It was kind of a sudden decision. My father's pretty sick, and it made sense to be closer to family.
When Catherine decided to move to Dallas, I think I went into a state of shock and denial, and I probably was maybe not the most supportive because I didn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
Well, so as we get started, I'd kind of like to hear from each of you what you'd like to get out of today.
One of the things in our friendship that's really hard is that I'm like very type A, and I would say she's more type B, and so I think that can be really frustrating for me when I can't reach her, when I like feel like I need support, or like when I feel like I'm really investing a lot of energy into the friendship and like I need a lot of attention. And when I can't find her, then I like feel like I go crazier, and then I'm like, I call her Alexa in her house because her phone is dead and like
creepy.
lost somewhere. I think that's been really hard with the distance. I do feel like I give more in this relationship than I get sometimes.
I mean, I will admit, I don't like having my phone with me all the time. But like, she always has her phone, she's in the car, she's like sending a million texts at once, and I think it's just maybe a little smothery. Also, it's just, there's things that she says that I think sometimes can like kind of bother me. It's like giving advice over and over and over to someone and like won't let it go.
I don't know, I would say in general that I'm pretty self-aware.
I don't think you're aware of the times where you are pushing it.
So it sounds like part of your goals then are to sort of acknowledge the differences between you in terms of personality, but also differences in boundaries. There's an interest in being involved, but an interest for space as well.
It's kind of weird because we're literally both pregnant. I think because of that, now it's like we've entered this kind of weird stage where, everyone has advice on how to raise a child. So, and I can see that being a boundary that I really think we do need to kind of establish. Like, I told her we were getting some like blood tests, and I told her like a level of some hormone. She's like, you need to take this, you need to take this medicine, you need to go to the doctor, you need to do this.
Now I'm an expert.
I'm already in a state where I'm feeling vulnerable and it's like being kicked.
It sounds like sometimes you would like less advice and more just being with.
Right.
I think from my perspective, in terms of boundaries, I don't really have any.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
we
an
need to
open
talk
book.
about
I'll talk about
an
anything.
open book.
I'm an open book. I'll talk about anything. But I think that I started my company, Tot Squad, 8 years ago, and I've probably read every mommy blog, and so I think my instinct is that like I know more because I've been working in the baby industry for so long. And I think my intentions are always good.
They're always good.
But it sometimes just doesn't translate.
I want to go back to this idea that you have no boundaries. Boundaries are actually very, very healthy. If they're too strong or too walled, they can be problematic, but if they're too diffuse, that's also problematic. Maybe, this not responding to calls and texts might be also part of you establishing some boundaries.
I've had a big adjustment moving to Dallas, and I've had like a lot of like kind of personal stuff crop up. My reaction to that is more, to be more like closed off and deal with that in my own way. But I think it's hard for Jen to recognize that that's what's going on right now.
Or like not take it personally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a greater level of sensitivity.
I think for me, it was a little hard with the pregnancy because Catherine and I like kind of had our own struggles with trying to get to the point where we got pregnant. And then I was like, thought I got a positive test, and Catherine was being really negative and like not hopeful or like not excited for me and like not supporting me. I know that that probably wasn't her intention.
Well,
but
it kind of was because, like, sorry.
Okay.
I do acknowledge, you know, we've had different paths, but I've had like 2 pregnancies and 2 losses. And so I'm just trying to set expectations that things don't always go well just because you have like the tiniest faint line.
Sure.
I've lived it. And so, and maybe that's the same, like what I criticize you for, like telling me what to do or, you know, giving me advice. And I'm trying like in a different way to do the same thing to you, I guess. And I think there was also, I mean, on that specific incident, not jealousy, but kind of like, go figure. Like, this would happen, well, without getting into specifics. But, you know,
it's
like,
we ended up getting pregnant the first time we actually tried. And I understand why Catherine would be frustrated with that.
it's just been so, I feel like it's been like a lot more of a struggle for me.
The adjustment here is that we don't just empathize with the other person from our own lived experience. It's actually imagining what it's like from the other person's lived experience.
I mean, I do feel bad now that I wasn't more excited for her.
Is there any way to maybe establish a greater sense of how to work with your friendship in the midst of the physical space and distance?
I feel like I want like a roadmap for our friendship. It's almost like, hey, are we gonna do like an annual vacation together? I feel like now that we live apart, I want more.
I can't look at you because you're tearing up. It's making me sad.
So yeah, so I just feel like I want more structure, and like it's really hard to get Catherine to commit. When I think about like our long distance friendship, I feel like already stressed that I'm not gonna be able to pin her down to be like, okay, like the week of Memorial Day, every year we're gonna have a trip.
When she says every Memorial Day, I'm like, that like stresses me out.
My husband is an artist and I'm a startup CEO, and Catherine and Forrest have, they're in a different financial position than we are. So like it's a lot easier for them to book travel a week out, and for me it's not. I mean, it's like kind of the elephant in the room because it's really hard to like talk about that, but it's like, I wanna make plans and spend time with you, but like I do have to plan farther in advance. And I just feel like this relationship for me is such a priority, and I want to have that dedicated time, and I don't feel like you're making it a priority.
I feel like, especially the past 6 months, I think that is true.
Yeah.
It's
I
been a
want
rough
to support
time.
you. Like I'm not saying that it's like my needs
No,
are more
I know,
important
but
just 'cause it's a hard time.
it can't always be like a one-sided relationship.
So it sounds like you each have needs, but sometimes they're disparate needs. Sometimes they don't line up. So being able to say, oh, we're off kilter here and this is why, can help you understand each other better and exactly do just that, where you're expressing care that you don't want to have the kind of impact that you're having.
Maybe I just need to be more respectful of Catherine's privacy needs and boundaries.
Maybe I need to amp up being more responsive and being more committed.
And it may even be if you're just really wanting to connect and you're just really needing a moment, you might be able to say, not able to talk today, let's catch up tomorrow or the next day or something like that. Would that work
Instead
for
of
you?
Totally
not-
fine. From my perspective, I would really appreciate that. Like busy tonight, talk tomorrow is all I need so that I don't feel like I'm being ignored or whatever.
Yeah. Sometimes when you call, I'm like, can't right now. And then I probably should just say, can't right now.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I really heard from Catherine yet that she really does want that future of like our kids growing up together.
Oh
And,
my
like,
gosh, yeah.
So I'm so sorry to cry again. But I feel like I want our kids to be friends, and I really want that relationship to last for a long time.
Yes, I want that, and I want our kids to be like, you know, great friends. I care so much about you. Like I guess I just take for granted that things are going pretty well, and I guess we've just never sat back and like really talked about it.
It's really important that you both get to ask for what you need, and it sounds like you were more than willing to say, yes, 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 this is what I want too. So I'm wondering, how would this be something that you could use in practice in this friendship?
I think at least now, for the next few months, we can get kind of a rhythm back, making sure we at least have like a good chat at least once a week.
Who knows what's gonna happen when the babies come in the middle of the night?
Who freaking knows? I mean, I have no idea, but I will make this friendship a priority. I don't want you to think I take it too lightly.
So I want to thank you both for sharing what you have and being vulnerable with each other, but also with us and with me. I really believe in the both of you and your ability to move forward in a better way, and it's obvious to me how much you really do love and care about each other, and that's a beautiful thing to witness.
Is this when we hug?
Hug it out. You can hug it out. Yeah.
I don't like to hug. Let's not. Let's go get food instead.
There you go.
And a mocktail.
Exactly, mocktail.